You watching this video right now, stop being so fucking hard on yourself. A lot of people believe that by being hard on themselves, they're actually taking more action and it's helping them to achieve their goals in life. Well, in this video, I'm going to explain to you why that is not the case and why this is not a sustainable form of energy long term and how it's going to burn you the fuck out. So listen closely.
I think we all have to go into and just trust to it.
So when you're being self-critical of yourself, when you're being hard on yourself, what you're pretty much doing is that you're channeling hate towards yourself. You're sending hate towards yourself, so it's sort of like this self-hatred, self-criticism towards yourself, and this is not going to work. This is not the sustainable thing to do, really, because hate, self-hate, is a lower form of energy than peace, love, happiness, and all that. And this is something that can happen. It's when you fuel so much hate towards yourself, when you send hate, when you send those remarks to yourself like, oh, fuck man, you should be doing better than that. You're like, fuck man, I should have taken more action and all that. And you beat yourself up over and over again. It's really you're using force more than power. There's this paradigm, it's taken from David Hawkins' book, Power versus Force. He talks about different levels of energy. He talks about how the lowest levels are all about force, right? So like anger, fear, pride, and all those lower emotions, those emotions really will take a lot of energy for you to use them, right? But if you were to be more passionate, self-compassionate, more loving of yourself, more accepting of yourself, you'd actually be moving to the next paradigm, which is acceptance, which comes with acceptance, which comes with power. And the power paradigm, all the emotions above the emotions of anger, so for example, courage, willingness, courage, presence of mind, happiness, acceptance, all those positive emotions, those yield way more power and more bang for their buck. That's why I believe that being self-compassionate, being nice to yourself, will actually yield higher results overall in the long term and will be more sustainable than the person who's just like, fuck, you're a piece of shit, man, you should be taking more action, you should lose that weight and all that. I think it has its time and place when you're really stuck at the lower levels, but ultimately long term, it's not sustainable. Like that might sustain you for one day, actually. Maybe for one day you could kick your ass and do something about it, but long term you want to use more helpful emotions. What is self-compassion before we dive into it? First, I'll tell you what self-compassion is not. Self-compassion doesn't mean to let yourself go. It doesn't mean to become passive. It doesn't mean to become lazy. Self-compassion doesn't mean that you allow people to walk all over you. Self-compassion doesn't mean that you let your guards down, that you can get manipulated and stuff by other people. No, that's not what self-compassion means. And also it doesn't mean letting go of your standards. It doesn't mean to be any less hardworking. In fact, when you're self-compassionate, you should be even more hardworking in paradox, because if really you didn't need to kick yourself in the butt to work and all that, I think you'd be working way more efficiently. I think you would love your work a lot more if you didn't need to kick yourself in the butt for that. Those are things to keep in mind. So self-compassion, what it actually is, it's really just being nice to yourself. Listening to your needs, listening to when your body, feels worn down or feels tired, or, you feel like out of it, you feel like you're not in the mood, really not in the mood, and for a consistent basis, you can not be in the mood to go in the gym for one day, but notice when really you're just not feeling it and you need a break, right? For example, that's when self-compassion can come in. And really, self-compassion is the acceptance of the present moment, empathy towards yourself, not self-pity, by the way. It's not like, poor me, I'm a piece of shit type of thing, but instead of poor me, I'm a piece of shit, it's more like, what I'm going through is difficult. And, it's okay if I'm having troubles through this time in my life, because it is not easy. And I think things, hopefully things get better, but if it takes me a bit longer to process that thing that happened to me, whatever happened, so be it. Self-compassion is sort of saying, it's okay, you'll be fine. It's okay, things will be fine in the end. Self-pity would be like, oh, I'm a piece of shit, what else can I do about it? It's like kind of like self-pity is like giving up. It's sort of like a giving up of things. Self-compassion is like you accept things as they are, you accept challenges as they come, you accept obstacles as they come, you let them come, you let the obstacles come, you let the hardships come, you welcome everything into your life in sort of like you keep a presence of mind during those challenges. That's when self-compassion can be useful. And that's how it is very drastically different from self-pity. So really make that distinction here. Self-compassion is really an accepting, so like a welcoming. It's like a welcoming plus moving forward towards something. And the biggest paradox about self-compassion is that you're more likely to overcome and eradicate old habits by being self-compassionate. Yeah. So like, for example, if you're trying to lose weight and one day of the weekend you just binge and eat a bunch of stuff, if you're to beat yourself up, actually, studies have found, I don't have the studies with me, but studies have found that when you beat yourself up when you guilt yourself for like indulging in a bad habit, you're more likely to indulge in it again, which is very weird, right? You think that by shaming yourself and guilting yourself that you would not do it, but in fact, the opposite is true. The opposite is true is that if you were to be more self-compassionate, be like, you know what, I'll let myself go for that day. But I mean, it was a difficult week. I mean, I took a lot of action and to lose that weight. And you know what, I let myself go for that one day. But I know that in the end, if I just keep on track, I'll be fine. And it's okay if, everyone makes mistakes. I'll get back on track, so I should be fine. So that's sort of the take that you should take. And apparently taking that mindset, way more successful at overriding bad habits than being hard on yourself. How do you practice self-compassion? Very easy. Number one, mindfulness. Mindfulness of your thoughts, mindfulness of your body, mindfulness of your emotions. So can you just be mindful of how you're feeling at a certain point? Just bring present awareness to the thought in question or the emotion in question that, may be hard to go through right now. If you're feeling fear, you're feeling really afraid about something, or you're worried, just have self-compassion. Like, instead of beating yourself up or wishing things were different, just be with it. Just be with it. And it's sort of like a paradox where you have to allow it to be in order for it to go. And if you wish it to go, it's not going to go. If you just allow it to be, it's going to go. And the more you practice this practice of mindfulness, the more you'll see that things will just be more peaceful in your life. The troubles that you're focusing on, if you bring awareness to the problem area, often awareness alone is curative. Just constantly bring that awareness again. Number two thing to practice self-compassion is, just allow yourself to be imperfect. Allow yourself to make mistakes. In fact, I've made mistakes in some of my videos that I've released, and there's like a mistake in some of my videos. I don't even edit it out. I just like leave it there because I think it just makes me more human. It makes me more like, like a regular person. And even this video right now isn't even perfect. My opinion. I'm pretty tired right now for some reason that I don't know why. I'm just feeling like kind of worn down right now. It's like my fourth or fifth video in a row now. So I'm getting a bit tired. Maybe that could be why. And I just allow it to be. It's like, just allow things to be imperfect, not to be, Number three thing, very simple to be more self-compassionate, is spend time doing things that you love, that you like. And yeah, that doesn't mean to do cocaine if you like cocaine, but it means, if you have a certain hobby, pick it up. And if you don't know your purpose, your life purpose, then I want you to find it. Because once you know what your purpose in life is, what you want to do with your life as your mission and your life path, really that's the most self-compassionate thing you can do, is to work towards your dreams. It's to work towards what you want to do, right? Is to work towards those things that matter to you. And if it's something you struggle with, that you don't know what your purpose is, or you don't have any clarity on your life right now and you're struggling, then I want you to book a free consultation with me. You can do that by clicking on the link in the description. You can do that right now, actually. So do things that you like. Number 4, very simple, positive self-talk. Say nice things about yourself, instead of like, fuck, I'm a piece of shit, just reframe it and say something like, it's okay. That's like my go-to phrase when I'm having a hard time. I just say, it's okay. I don't try to like rationalize it with some like magnificent or whatever. Just say, it's okay. Whatever I'm going through right now, it's difficult. I'm tired right now, whatever it is. It's okay. I'm just going to continue on and continue taking action. That's it. Number 5 is avoid judgments and avoid assumptions. Yeah, if you stop labeling things, if you stop labeling things as good or bad, if you stop trying to judge, other people or other circumstances that are happening to you, there will be less resistance and you'll be able to be more compassionate towards yourself. The less resistance there is to the now, the more compassion can enter into your life. You have to let the compassion enter into your life. You have to let that love and that happiness come in. And it's really not something that you force, it just kind of happens. Compassion is interesting, it's sort of like a letting go. It's not like a grasping, or it's not like a moving towards, really. Self-compassion is sort of like a letting go. Letting go as in like, not as in becoming lazy, but like letting go of resistance towards what is happening. Letting go towards negative emotions that, really why we say they're negative is just an interpretation, but just sort of like a letting go of everything, just letting go, just being fine. Can you do that? Next way to be more self-compassionate, paradoxically, is look at other people and find a common ground with those people. See the strengths and weaknesses of other people and how those things relate to you. And if you can see the weaknesses in other people and be compassionate towards those things, then you'll also learn to be compassionate with yourself about those things. I realized myself when I, for example, when I was beginning in personal development, I saw some of my old friends slacking out. I'd be like, fuck man, they're fucking lazy, what a piece of shit they are. And actually that wasn't the way to go, because the more that I did that, the less compassion I was towards myself, because really what you criticize about others is really just something that you criticize about yourself a lot of the time. And if you learn to be more accepting, more tolerant of some of the things other people are doing, then you'll be more accepting, more tolerating of yourself. And now, actually, before, when I used to do stuff like that, I couldn't sit down and enjoy like a video game or a film. I couldn't sit down and enjoy, doing nothing or eating at a restaurant or drinking alcohol, because I'd feel so guilty about those things. I'd feel like, fuck man, I'm wasting my time. I should be taking massive action. And because of that, it just like burned me down. Like I couldn't sit down and enjoy things. And the moment I stopped judging other people for having fun, other people for slowing down and appreciating life, the more I could slow down, take my time, like take a week off, take a month off, not release a single fucking video on Nameless and feel fine, not feel guilty, not feel like I'm a failure, not feel like I'm worthless. I would feel all right. I would feel like who I am supposed to be, who I am, just because I allowed this emotion to be, and because I was compassionate towards other people who were doing those things. Next thing you can do to be more self-compassionate is take care of your body. Yeah, really, like take care of your mind, body, and spirit. Go for a walk, exercise, meditate. Pretty self-explanatory. Next thing to be more self-compassionate is realize that, life is not all about you. It really isn't. And maybe the reasons why sometimes you're hard on yourself is because you believe that you're like the center of everything, that you're center of your life, you're center of your purpose, you're center of all that. You gotta take massive action or else you're gonna fail. I mean, yes, you gotta take action, but it's not all about you, man, or woman. It's not all about you. Like, look at other people, look at people are struggling with different things in life, and be fine with it. Be fine that it's not all about you in the end, and learn, instead of focusing all that attention on yourself, When you focus it outward, you realize that you don't really have that time to focus on all those negative thoughts in your head. When you focus outward, you focus on something that you can help someone else, be compassionate to somebody else, spread good vibes to somebody else. It's like you don't have that time to be mean to yourself, really. So just something to think about. And the last way to be more self-compassionate to yourself really is to live a life aligned to your purpose. Because really being aligned to your purpose is really the ultimate act of self-love, in my opinion. Because when you're following your own purpose, you're following what your heart desires, what you truly desire in life, your biggest dreams, your biggest hopes. Living in accordance to your purpose, that's like the ultimate act of self-compassion, of self-love. It's pretty much it. I mean, is there like anything greater than that? Like of higher service to yourself than to follow your calling? I don't think so. I think that's the number one thing. And if this is something that you struggle with, finding your calling, if that's something that you need more help with, then I can help you with that. And self-compassion is such an important thing. So is clarity in your life. And really those two things, they come together. If you struggle with that, then I want you to book a free consultation call with me that you can you put on the link in the description below. If you click on the link in the description or in the comments, there'll be a link for you to sign up. I'll put a link right there, pretty much everywhere. Dude, fucking sign up for my program right now. Just kidding. But anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you like this video. I reply to every comment on my new videos. I try to reply to as many as I can. Within the first week or so, I reply to every single fucking comment. So read your comment, leave your comments, I reply to them, and don't forget to book your free call. And I'll talk to you next time. Peace.